The Fed is expected to hold interest rates steady when it announces its policy decision later today. All eyes are really on this man. He's the new Fed chairman, Kevin Warsh. He'll hold his first press conference at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Investors are looking for clues on the path of interest rates. Markets will also be watching for any signals of inflation, energy prices, and whether the Fed is moving away from expectations for rate cuts later this year. We know the president is interested in that. Joining me now in studio is Barron's reporter Josh Schafer. Good morning, Josh. Warm welcome to you.
Good morning.
Appreciate you getting up early and being here with us. What does this meeting, this announcement today mean for the financial lives of our viewers who are all looking for a bit of financial relief?
I don't think you're going to see relief in terms of interest rates later today. And really what is going to be most interesting is what we can learn about later this year, Errol. So at this point, you had expected interest rate cuts coming into this year. Now those expectations have really started to fade. You look at inflation back at a more than 2-year high, and you look at the labor market actually stabilizing. The unemployment rate is held flat at 4.3% for 3 straight months now. On an aggregate level, the U.S. labor market has added more than 170,000 jobs each of the last 3 months. So one of the reasons the Federal Reserve might have been cutting interest rates was actually a weakening labor market. It doesn't seem like the labor market is actually weakening anymore. And then you have concerns about inflation. So it's going to be a tough position for Kevin Warsh's first meeting.
Well, not to mention that the president was very critical of his predecessor, Jerome Powell, for not following the president's instructions, although the Fed is meant to be independent. So what are you listening for today when Kevin Warsh speaks to the press after this decision?
It's going to be the most fascinating part of the day, just to hear how Kevin Warsh chooses to communicate. Because a press conference, you can choose to talk for 5 seconds and say 5 words to every answer, or you can choose to talk for 5 minutes and try and not say a lot and really answer questions. One of Warsh's big motivations coming into the Fed is to communicate less. He thinks the Fed over-communicates, and so he wants to dial back that communication. So I believe there's a chance you might not actually get that many clues about the future path forward today, and he might be a little dodgy in his press conference.
That isn't, so then we'll have to read into his body language and look for more clues. There's one data point that really jumped out at me recently. It's from Vanguard. They are showing that a record number of Americans are now tapping their retirement, taking that early penalty because of financial hardship. What is that? I think the number is about 6% of the millions of people who have 401ks. What does that say to you?
What it says to me is one of the biggest issues in the economy right now is that wage growth is no longer outpacing inflation. So we had this recent inflation spike, and inflation is now, price increases are increasing faster than what you're getting paid on an hourly basis, those increases that you see. So the lower end consumer and the general consumer here in America is certainly getting squeezed. The Fed's problem is they don't have a lot of tools to really help with that. They can only move interest rates. So they're trying to really tame that inflation. So if they have to keep interest rates higher for a little bit longer right now, in the long run, it should hopefully help out those consumers by bringing down inflation, so then we can all be making more than inflation is actually increasing.
Right. So if folks feel that things are tight at home today, don't expect relief anytime soon.
Yes.
Let's see what happens in the future.
Exactly.
Josh, great to have you with us. Thanks for being here.